Hey, Startup Vision. I'm Redouane Ramdani, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Snipfeed. At Snipfeed, our mission is to help content creators monetize and distribute their content.
Hello, Redouane. Thank you for being here with Startup Vision. As you said, Snipfeed is a platform that allows content creators to get more exposure and mainly monetize their content. You told me that you want to transform a gig economy into a passion economy. Can you explain?
Yeah, sure. So I think what's really interesting right now is that we're going through almost a renaissance in terms of content. We're moving from kind of mainstream media with radio, TV, etc., to what we call the creator economy. So you're going to have individual, just like you, who are actually having bigger audiences than normal media. And so those people, for some time now, they have grow pretty big audiences through platforms like YouTube, their podcasts, etc. But the problem is that most of them, they don't have the tools to turn these audiences into real businesses and really monetize their audiences. And so what we're seeing right now is that they need to grow out of advertising. Because for instance, when you're on YouTube, you only get a very, very tiny part of the revenues that YouTube is making on your videos through advertising. And so most of them right now, they have, a certain number of skills. They have also some content that they want to sell to their audiences. And so we help them actually to do that. So our platform empower them and help them to build kind of, SMBs around their content. So let's say if you're a teacher and you may have a podcast or you may publish some videos, we help you really sell, for instance, bundles of content, classes online, subscription products. Your fans also have the ability to tip you on the platform. So you're going to see who is really supporting you. You're going to have, a little board around that. And what's very interesting is that this is a movement that's really happening already in some places. You see in China, you have, for instance, professors who are making $15 million a year just selling classes about the history of China. You also have other people who are more entertainers, like comedians, who are making through platforms like YY, where most of the money they're making are through actually donations. They're making millions of dollars a year also, and they don't use advertising. And so we also believe that there is kind of like a creative power out there that can be monetized through direct relationship from the creator to the audience, and that's what we call the patient economy. And so we believe that it's going to really be as big as the gig economy. So if you're interested by that, you can see a lot of reports from Anderson Horowitz, etc. But yeah, that's why we believe in what we're doing here at Snipfeed.
And so you define Snipfeed as a marketplace,
yeah.
And it's a win-win business model. Can you develop that?
Yeah, sure. So we're kind of like a win business model in two senses. The first one is first, I'd say, in terms of course, monetization. So right now, the tools that we're building for people are, a way also to avoid a lot of sunk cost. So when you're a creator and you want to do mostly kind of like monetize your content, you want to own your own audience, you have two options. Either you create your own website or your own app. And a lot of them have tried to do that, even celebrities. And it's most of the time a failure, of course, because you're going to pay, $5 million to do your own app, and you're not going to really kind of like drive enough people to your platform. And so really we give all the infrastructure for them for free. And, and then we take basically 20-25%, depending on what kind of transaction they're doing on the platform, on each transaction. So for them, it's really a win-win game in the sense that they don't have anything to do, just upload in one click, no code, super simple infrastructure for them. And the other part of this win-win game is that as any marketplace, we also make sure that you get exposure. So we use a lot of AI behind the engine. And so what's very interesting is that the way we work is you're going to go on the platform because you're interested in, let's say, one specific creator, right? So let's say, for instance, I'm interested into Startup Vision. I'm going to go on Snipfeed because I'm interested by your content. And then we have what we call related content. And so we connect everything. So we're like, oh, you liked this video about the passion economy, and there is this podcast episode from another creator about the same topic. And so you kind of, get into the rabbit hole somehow and get to know new creators all the time. And so for a creator, it's really also a way to get exposure based on interest and not based on advertising. And so that's a big difference also contrary to platforms like for instance YouTube, because on YouTube the way it works, it's gonna drive you to other videos where YouTube makes money through advertising. That's not the way we work. The way we work is, oh, you like this topic, you like that, so you're gonna like something else, and then you may turn into a supporter of this creator. So that's kind of really, I would say, a paradigm kind of like shift from the advertising model from YouTube or Facebook.
And that's a gain for the passion economy then. Okay.
Exactly.
Edouane, can we talk a little bit about the technology and the security also, which is very important behind all that?
Sure. So kind of like we have two, I would say, main technology. The first one is all the infrastructure around, the payment infrastructure, everything that's kind of in place for us. So what we're doing is that we realize that, it's really painful for a creator to have to create a website or an app. And so we created templates that are super easy to use, where we kind of like harmonize all the pages of the creators. And so it's super easy for them then to just kind of like drop new content, create paywalls, all the things right now, super, super difficult technically for a normal person, I would say, or even kind of 2 or 3 developers. And so we made this part super easy. And the other part, which is also what's kind of like drive engagement on the platform, is more the recommendation engine that we have built. So the technology here is the one I was talking about before. It's really how we recommend content to you based on your interest. And so typically here, when you onboard on Snipfeed, we're lucky enough to have launched a year and a half ago a first product that was a chatbot on Facebook Messenger, Telegram, etc. Got a bit over 1.5 million users, and so people who get every day a recommendation around articles, videos, etc. And so that gave us a lot of data to kind of like learn, okay, if you're interested in this kind of topics, for let's say, if you're interested into like Fortnite gaming, usually interested into NBA, as well as kind of like hip hop music. And so very easily, we're gonna first have a picture of who you might be as a user. Of course, it evolves all the time. That's kind of like how the AI works. But we kind of first, when you onboard the platform, you don't have a cold start somehow. You already have things that might be interesting for you. And so that's really all the data science part that we're working on.
So you're based on the West Coast, and right now you're raising seed money. First of all, how is it going? And also, do you see any changes in the metrics that are requested by VCs?
Yes, very interesting question. So I would say, so right now, yes, so we based here in Los Angeles. And so we raised a pre-seed round a bit over a year ago with the investors like the co-founder of Zynga, MySpace, Sequoia Scout also. And so we were preparing our round when everything kind of like happened very fast. So it's definitely harder. I think, something very important, I would say, in the relationship you have with investors, meeting them in person, because trust is at the center of the relationship you're going to build with them. So doing that over Zoom is definitely harder. You're going to have way more calls. So let's say, for instance, when you're raising, usually you're going to see one associate or one depends kind of the structure, but then one partner, and usually maybe after another partner, and it's done. Right now, you usually need to see the analyst, the associate, all the team pretty much. You need to talk to everybody. So it's going to take, it's taking way more time. I think the valuation, of course, also are going to be hit. We already saw that. I think at the seed round, like us, it's not necessarily a problem in the sense that usually the valuation are not, depends, of course. In San Francisco in the last few months was crazy. But if you're rational, it's still okay. The problem is that if you raise, for instance, a seed round at a 25 million valuation, because that was the case in San Francisco like 2 months ago. And now the market says, well, Series A, you're not going to get this valuation. You maybe going to like raise at the same valuation, and so you're going to lose a lot of equity. So a lot of people need to think about how they can really focus on being profitable, having a longer kind of runway, and so kind of the two things that we're being asked also that was not really the case before was what's our burn rate, things that people never asked before. That's I mean, at least here in California. I think in Europe it might be different. The other one is also how we're working remotely. How we're gonna be able to hire people remotely. So hopefully our team was also had a technical office in Paris, and so we have always kind of like had very been very efficient kind of like remotely. And yeah, I would say kind of like the things also that they're really focusing on are unique economics. That wasn't the case until like Series B before. I think before it was growth, like till Series B, Series C, and then we're gonna see how you make money, how that makes sense. I think now that's definitely not the case. Even at the seed round, people are wondering when we're gonna be profitable, when are you gonna actually kind of drive enough revenues to survive if you can't get money in 21 months. Because a lot of people, they're really telling us that we don't know how long it's gonna last. It might be harder than the Big Depression because we never kind of like went through such a change, and so you need to be ready to not raise money for maybe 2-3 years, even more. So that's also, I think, something to very kind of different compared to the environment before.
Yeah, it's a comeback finally to the real economy and
Yes.
to real numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your time with us on Startup Vision. And
Sure.
good luck. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.